Well, hey neighbors, welcome to the Shed Shop in this edition of How To. In this video, I'm going to show you how to rebuild your HD carburetor. This one is off of the 1127 series Stihl, which includes your 029, your 029 Super, your MS290, your MS310, your 039, and your MS390. There are other chainsaws with this carburetor, and this kit fits many different HD Walbro carburetors. But this is an instructional video to show you what to do. You will need a K10 HD carburetor kit or an aftermarket that is a replacement to a K10 HD carburetor kit. I use and sell carburetor parts from CTS. They're our China neighbors, and I think their kits are good quality. I have saws that I have built more than a year ago with these kits, and people don't always drain their fuel, and the kit seems to hold up pretty good, and I would say it holds up just as much as an OEM Walbro K10 HD carburetor kit. But you save yourself $5 to $10 by getting the aftermarket. So even if you had to replace it a little bit more often, economically, it is more affordable to use these aftermarket kits. I will have for you in the pinned comment and the description a link to purchase this from me. It will come from me, neighbors, on eBay. And I will also have a link for you for this little tool. This is a great tool, and anybody that's working on small engine equipment, I think absolutely needs to have this tool. I have the kits for $9.99 on eBay, and I have the tool for $9.49 on eBay. I am sorry I can't bring you a lower price, but it is because of the shipping. It costs about $5.75 to ship each of these. So my profit is only about 30 to 40 cents. But neighbors, if you help me sell more of these, the Chainsaw Redeemer can keep this channel going because it is hanging by a thread right now. That being said, neighbors, I'm going to turn you down to the bench and we're going to get to work. Damn it, neighbors. Here's our carburetor, neighbors. Here's our carburetor kit. Here's the tools we need. Okay, very first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull both our covers off. You can use a handheld screwdriver. I have arthritis and carpal tunnel, and that's why I use my drill. If you use a drill, you have to be very careful when you put your screws back in because you do not want to over-tighten these screws. You will concave or bend your covers, or your screw will end up breaking, okay? Use a flat head. It is easier to get this out of the way. You can do it with it on, but trust me, it's much easier to do this screw if you just take that off. Okay? There we are. Pop that off. Sometimes it might be a little stuck, and if this is sticking real bad, don't try to peel it. Use you a knife to get up under it, okay? Like so, and get it worked up. Or you can use your carb adjustment screwdriver or another thin screwdriver and get up under it. Because once it sticks in one spot, it's going to stick in a bunch of places. And then you're going to be scraping gasket off. Next thing we're going to do is remove our metering lever, our wrist pin, and our inlet needle with this Phillips head screw. Be very careful not to strip this out. They're usually in there extremely tight. So that's why I push down on my drill really hard. Next thing we're going to do, I recommend, if you're not used to doing these, keep all your parts together. Okay, so you know where everything goes. We know all that goes on that side. Our inlet needle ran away, but we don't need it. Okay, one screw over here on your metering or your pump diaphragm side. This side is your metering diaphragm, and this side is your pump diaphragm. As you can see, we've got lots of goop in there. It's gotten dirty. Okay, that stuff will clog up your carburetor completely. Okay, go ahead and get this gasket off. If this gasket gets stuck on this side, notice there is ridges, okay? It's raised up. Don't sand it. Use a screwdriver or a knife and very carefully against the grooves, like so. Scrape it off, okay? You don't want to sand this down because that helps your carburetor seal. And if your carburetor has an air leak on this side, well, that air leak is then going to go to seek, kill, and destroy your chainsaw, neighbors. And you don't want that, okay? Go ahead and take your screen out. I like to use a pick to get it out. Just kind of pry it up. Be careful. That's going to be trash. Set your parts aside because you want to make sure your new ones match. You can peel this off if you want to. I am trying to just to show you for reference. Okay, since it's bad, we don't have to worry about it ripping or anything like that. Set those parts aside. Now set your carburetor over here and verify that you have the right parts. I know I do. Okay, but this will have one extra part in it. It has an extra gasket in it. Some carburetors use this rubber gasket. Okay, and some use this. You can switch them. I have done that before just to experiment, and it works fine. But I recommend just go ahead and go with what was in there. And so, I'll back you guys up a little bit. As you can see, wow, you guys really can't see. We look at this, okay, we make sure all our holes are the same, and make sure it's not backwards. There is the diaphragm that is identical to this, except it's flipped over like it's in a mirror, okay? That would be the wrong one for you. So you're looking at this point, they're both the same direction, and everything is the same. You do that with all your parts, just to make sure you have the right parts. Okay, gasket is the same. Pump diaphragm, again, same thing. Sorry, turn it the right way. That's identical. All the holes are the same. Okay, and then finally your gasket. Everything is the same. So we have the right carburetor kit. The next thing you want to do is you're going to need a carb parts cleaner. You can use brake parts cleaner as well, but I don't exactly recommend it. Carb parts cleaner is just better. Now, I'm sending mine through an ultrasonic bath, but I'm going to show you. Also, I removed the restrictors. Okay, there is a tool you can buy to remove those. I have a kit here I purchased with all kinds of different carburetor adjustment screwdrivers and whatnots in it. And it does have the removal tool, okay? And so this goes in and it threads in here. I believe it's a reverse thread on this one. So we screw that into the center. And then we just take us some needle nose, okay? Or some pliers, and we're just going to pry that up. A lot of times this whole thing comes out. Oh, you got to turn the tab. If you're not removing your restrictors, you can leave these in, but it is always best to try and take your inlet needles out to clean your carburetor properly. Doesn't want to come out for me, neighbors. My screwdriver, or my tool, is just going to end up stripping. Okay, try and turn this to my tab. Most of you are not going to be doing this part. I remove my restrictors because I modify mufflers and stuff, and so you have to modify the mixture in your carburetor, because this limits, it restricts how much you can. I can't see the tab, damn it. Yeah, I definitely can't see the tab. I may have already removed these, I'm wondering. There we are. Yeah, I like when the whole thing comes out like that, because then it makes it easier to go ahead and remove your other one. Okay. So let me do that. Nice and easy. See that? And then we take our carburetor adjustment tool, or any flathead. Did I lose mine already, guys? I did. Wow. My bench is a miss, neighbors. Here's another one. Okay. And what I like to do is I like to just kind of check where it is. So I'm going to turn it in half, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4, about 1 1/2 turns, 1 1/4 out it was. That way when I put it back in, I can start, that can be my starting place. And that typically is most carburetors, not all, without restrictors on them. If you start at 1 1/4 turn, that's a pretty good starting point. And a lot of times that's right where the carburetor wants to be anyways. But I take these out because then I can clean the area out properly. And I usually ultrasonic, whoops, so half, 1, 1 1/8. I usually ultrasonic my carburetors, but most people might not have an ultrasonic bath like I do, okay? This one's a little tight in there. Damn, my screwdriver keeps slipping out. Life of nerve damage. Am I turning this the right damn way? I am. The O-ring on this inlet needle is getting stuck, I think, and that's not a good thing because I don't have a replacement. Damn. Ah. Okay, let me try and grab a different screwdriver. That one's just a little bit messed up. I don't see my gray handled one here. Everything is a mess, neighbors. Please forgive me for my messiness. Oh, there's our inlet needle and stuff that we will need. Here's our other parts. Sorry, neighbors. Trying my best here. Again, please forgive me. I know the video is not perfect. I do try real hard for you guys. I don't see my other screwdriver, which sucks. So I guess I'm just going to keep fighting with this one. Actually, you know what? We can do it this way. Nope, the other one that fit, the needle nose fit it. Damn, it sucks. Just have to go slow. Yeah, that O-ring is probably stuck. At least that's what it feels like is going on. Yeah, that O-ring is, I'm probably going to have to replace the O-ring here. See how the O-ring slipped down? Unless I can get it back up to the top in its groove, it will have to be replaced. But on this carburetor, the inlet screws are different. Sometimes they will be the same. So fortunately on this one, it's unlikely that you'll end up putting them backwards. The only problem is if you end up trying to put the low end in the high side, it'll be very loose, but it will screw in and start feeling like it might be there. And this one, you will end up ruining the seat of the high jet because look how much longer the low jet is versus the high jet. Okay, so then what you do is you take your car parts cleaner. I'm not going to hold the can because it's easier to show you this way. And I would spray safety glasses, neighbors. Wear your safety glasses when you do this, especially if you're not familiar with where the stuff's going to spray out of. So I'm going to spray into my low jet here, and it can come out there. And then my high jet here, and it comes out these two holes. It can. That way I flush that out. I'm not going to replace the Welch plug. I very rarely do that. Okay, and then I go in here, push it real tight. That's where your inlet needle goes. Spray through there. It'll come out down here. And then spray through here. That comes out here and here. Spray through here. That will come out there. And then you want to spray through here, which comes out there. And I thought there was an impulse that comes out as well. But that is it looks like. Okay, so you spray all that. And then we're going to reassemble it. I am going to pause you guys, and I'm going to give this a 5-minute ultrasonic bath. Okay, here's our parts out of the ultrasonic. There's just one more area I forgot to tell you to spray. This hole right here where your fuel line, or yeah, where your impulse hooks up. I think it's your impulse. No, maybe it's fuel line. Yeah, I think this one's for the fuel line. Okay, so just to make sure that jet's clean. And I do use green clean for my carbs, so I do have to spray it after the fact. And plus, it still could have got little bits of sand or dirt and dust in it. Sorry, I didn't mean to shoot you in the eye there, neighbors. Okay, so we just want to clean this up real nice. As you can see, what I was showing you where it sprays out, like so. And like the other side in here, it's going to spray out the back. See that? Okay, good. Spraying in my inlet needle holes, which goes, your inlet needle will go into your venturi, spray inside your venturi, and that's all done. Next thing we need to do is I'm going to start by reinstalling my inlet needles, but I am going to remove my restrictors. Now that doesn't mean I don't put these red tabs back in. I'm going to remove the restriction part, so I'm just going to cut that down right there real quick. Okay, so as you can see, I removed that tab. Okay, and that will allow me to set my screws wherever I want. People driving by honking their horns for no reason. Ignorance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I got to get this O-ring set where it needs to be. Okay, fortunately, I did get that where it needs to be. This is our high jet. So you can see you got an H there. Okay, H there and the L there for high-low. Okay, so we'll put our inlet needles in. And then we're going to seat them gently down. You want to seat it gently. So screw it all the way in until you feel it stop. And don't go more than that. Just gently seat it down. It's better to have it not all the way seated and have this out too much and have your chainsaw flood out than it is to damage your seat. Because once you damage your seat inside there, if you damage your inlet needle, you can replace your inlet needle. But then you're going to pay $10 for a silly little part because of shipping. But if you damage the seat inside the carburetor where it sits, where this seat's down, your carburetor is not going to be able to be set right most times. You're going to end up having flooding because you can't control the fuel flow. Okay, so we're going to seat those down all the way. Okay, nice and gentle seat. Once it's like that, I don't go any more than that. Okay, I will go ahead and put this back in. Okay. Make sure that's in good and snug. And then I will put my restrictors back in that have been modified not to restrict. Okay, I like to try and get this where the screwdriver lines up the same as the screw. Okay. These do hold on to the, you can see the little ridges in there hopefully. These do hold on to the inlet needle. But like I said, I like to get them the same direction. Maybe that's OCD, I don't know. It's not the same direction. There we go. Push that down. Make sure it goes down all the way. Well, it doesn't want to go. I'll be damned. There we go. I don't like to damage the head of these because then it's really hard to adjust your carburetor. This one's perfectly sideways. Oops, chip. It's hard to, my right arm shakes really bad because of my nerve damage. And my left arm's shaking now too because I'm just stressed out. Yeah. We won't go into why. Because this is an instructional video. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my low jet, turn it out half, 1 1/4, and I like to go about 1/8 on these personally. Same with the high jet. I'm going to go out half, 1 1/8, okay? Next thing we want to do is go ahead and put our new parts in. Go ahead and grab your screen first, and you set it on top there, okay? You can push it in to start with your thumb. And then just really use any tool to push it down. You don't have to go all the way. The most important thing is that right here, trying to get it so you guys can see that hole right there. Right there is that hole. You want your screen below that hole because if your screen covers that hole, then all you have is this tiny bit of surface area to keep dust out, and that can plug up real quick. You want it to be able to drain through the entire screen because look how much debris is there, and this saw would still probably run just fine with all that debris in there as long as it's not in the rest of your carburetor. So now that we've got our screen on this side, your pump diaphragm, this is your pump diaphragm. Your pump diaphragm goes down first, okay, and it can only go one way, so right there, and then your gasket goes on top. Okay, and then your cover, and look at your design. It only goes one way. It's got these tabs right here, so you can't mess this one up. Some carburetors, you can turn the covers the wrong way. Okay, and then we'll just put our screw back in. These you snug up tight. Don't over tighten it. Okay, once it seats just a little bit further, you just turn it a little bit further. You don't have to go very much, okay, because you can cause this cover to essentially, if this is your cover, you can cause it to concave like that, and then you'll have air leak, okay, and that's bad. Your chainsaw will not run right, and that air leak will seek to kill and destroy your chainsaw. Okay, now we're going to move to the other side, and I got to get a Q-tip. Let me clean this a little bit here. Got to get a Q-tip because I got some dirtiness in there still. Okay. Clean that up. We don't want any muck or debris in our carburetor. Again, it will come to seek, kill, and destroy our chainsaw. One thing you can do on larger inlet holes, you can use a Q-tip with a drill to buff your seat out. On these, the Q-tip will not work, even if I get the right amount of cotton off. So I just take me a piece of cotton, okay, and a pick to push it in, hopefully. Okay, and then I'll remove the cotton from the end of my Q-tip here. Okay, and I will just kind of turn that and buff it out real good, and that ensures that your inlet needle will seat. And then I will very carefully remove my cotton with a pick, okay, like so. It usually comes out pretty easy. Okay, whoops. There we are, and then I'm just making sure there's none left in there. My inlet needle seat looks really good now. So next you're going to take that is your metering lever, your inlet needle, your wrist pin. This kit does not come with a spring, so take your spring there. Okay, I like to, what's easiest for me is I like to try and get my carburetor kind of level as best I can. Okay. Not quite level, but that way my spring doesn't fall sideways. And then I set my spring in, and it needs to be standing up, okay? And then I will take my metering lever, put my wrist pin in it. It has to be off-centered, so it's going to go more to that side on this particular carburetor. Then I hang my inlet needle from my metering lever, like so, okay? Then I grab it back here, and then I'm just going to turn my carburetor up, line everything up, and then just quickly, oh, I missed. Okay, I missed that time, so we got to start over. You got to persevere, right, neighbors? Don't get discouraged. I've had to do this 15 or 20 times on a carburetor before I finally got it in. The shaking most definitely does not help me. I'm shaking real bad. Yeah, my spring. I might replace the spring because I have a set of springs. I do feel like the spring needs replaced. Okay, I'm going to get a different spring, neighbors. Bear with me. Here's my springs, neighbors. Okay, got my new spring here. Hopefully that will help us. Just doesn't want to stand up for me. Okay, show you a little trick here. I'm going to put a tiny bit of two-stroke oil on there to kind of help it sticky. Okay, hopefully. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There we are. Grab our metering lever and wrist pin and inlet needle again. I am just shaking so bad today. Nerve damage sucks, especially when it's coupled with carpal tunnel and arthritis. Okay, try this again. I don't quite have it grabbed right. I'm struggling because of my hands shaking. Okay. Set that on our spring. With our inlet needle lined up. There we are. We got it that time. My wrist pin isn't quite in, so I'll just push it over a little bit so it falls in. Hold that with my thumb and move it over so I can get my screw. Okay. I do have a magnetic drill bit here, which really helps on this stuff. Okay, there we are. Boy, I'm shaking bad. Okay, there we are. You want this one nice and tight, but don't strip it out. I'm going to turn my drill down just a tiny bit. Now that that's done, on this side, this is your metering diaphragm. Your gasket goes first on this side. So on the pump side, which is the other side, we put our diaphragm and then gasket. On our metering side, which is this side, we put our gasket and then our metering lever, or our diaphragm. But the one other thing we need to do, I forgot to show you what this tool is for. On it, it tells you what types of carburetors it is. So this is the HD, HDB. It is also just a regular HD, and it's meant to do this to see that your metering lever is supposed to be flush. Okay, so we're going to go here. Look, we're not flush. We're way too high. Now, how we fix that is we have to hold it here on this end, okay, down here, and push this down just a bit. We don't need much, but with that being too high, that means our inlet needle is never going to be seated, okay, and our carburetor will flood. That's why I say this is a must-have tool. Okay, we're still a little too high, so we'll go a little bit more here. Okay, try again. Okay, now we're flush. You see that, how we're nice and flush? It's a little tiny bit high, but there we go, right there. Nice and flush, okay? Nice and flush, that's what we want, okay? And then the last thing I do is make sure this is going to lift my needle up. It barely does any movement, but it does lift it, okay? And this one has a little bit of a slow reaction time, so that metering lever being a little bit higher would be okay. So I'm just going to go a hair more, like that, and I think we will be good, okay? And if not, if our chainsaw has issues, we look into our carburetor and see if we did something wrong, if our chainsaw is flooding, okay? And that's after we've verified that there's no other problems. So then your diaphragm, and again, these can only go one way. And then you want to make sure this is for your impulse and fuel line. So your carburetor faces your chainsaw. If your chainsaw is right here and slides on that way, this has to be facing the back, okay? And again, it only goes one way, but just show you that so you understand, okay? And then we just put our 4 screws in, like so. Oh, that's tight, damn. My drill should not be that tight. Yeah, it's not, my drill's not doing its job. But anyways, so then again, you don't want to over tighten these. You can crack your cover, you can bend it, you can warp it. So once you feel them seated, just give them a little bit more of a turn, but don't go too hard. I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of by feel. Okay. And then that's it, neighbors. We'll put our last little piece on here. It just slides right on, or just goes right on there, is molded. And that, my neighbors, is how you rebuild your Walbro HD carburetor. This is an HD, looks like 900 it says. Is the only other numbers I see, identifiers. HD 18B, okay? So that is how you do that. If you liked the video and it helped you out, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below what you think. Let me know it helped you out. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and you like auditing content and you like animal content, because I have that. And then if you want merchandise, you can look down below and see all the different cool shirts and beanies and glasses and everything else we have. So until next time, neighbors, be kind to one another. Everyone is facing a battle. I love all 8 billion of you, even though I suck at it.